Hi guys, Everyday Knife Guy here with another simple paracord tutorial, and today I'm going to be showing you something which you'll see going by a number of different names on YouTube and the internet. This is variously called box knot, Square Sinnet, box lanyard knot, and various variations on that. This is basically what we're trying to create, a small fob or lanyard, and it's called square or box because of, you can see the profile on the end there is fairly square considering we're using a round cord. This is ungutted 550 paracord, and we're just going to create a small fob, something like this. You can see it's quite a handy thing to attach to tools and so on. This is ungutted cord, which we're going to be using today. You can also do it with gutted cord, and that's going to produce something that looks even more square and neat. It's a little bit smaller in size. You can see the size difference there in the profile. And of course you can do this with one or two colors. We're going to use two colors today to make it a little easier to follow. We're basically looking just to make a small short section of the square profile box, and then a little loop that you can then use a hitch knot to attach to your gears. So that's what we're after. There's a lot of tutorials on this online. A lot of them are a bit long-winded. I'm going to try and keep this brief and to the point, but also as easy to follow as I can. So let's get started. So I'm going to use two 2-foot sections of 550 paracord ungutted, and I'm using two colors, as I said, just to make it a little bit easier to follow. And we'll complete the actual complete the lanyard, with the 2-foot sections, and you'll get an idea how big a lanyard that'll make for you, and then you can go from there to adjust to whatever size you want. So first thing I want to do is find midpoint of your cords. So let's just lay these down here for starters, and the easiest way to do that is take one of your cords and just bend it over like that. So that's your midsection, and take the cord that you've bent over and lay it out vertically across the other cord. So you have a cross like that. Now, important at this stage to know that the actual loop of your lanyard, where you're using two colors, is going to be made up by the cord that you have on the bottom here, the horizontal one. So if this isn't the right way around for you, in this case I want this grayish color cord to be the actual loop, so we're going to go ahead and make it, but you might want to change them around depending what color you want to end up with. So important thing to know. So the first thing you're going to do is take your horizontal cord, take the left hand piece and bring that over the vertical, okay, and then take your bottom piece and take that back over the vertical that way. So you're basically just making an S shape with the horizontal cord. You can see that there. And then all you're going to do is take your top piece of the vertical cord, come over this piece of the horizontal and down through this loop here. So feed that through there. You're basically just making an S in two dimensions, if you like, or two directions rather. So we're now going to take this bottom piece of the vertical cord, bring that over this piece of the horizontal and down through this loop here. So you're just doing the same thing in two directions. So what you should end up with is this, which if you look at it, turn your head on the side, you basically have an S in the green cord and an S in the grey cord. So we're going to go ahead and just pull these, cinch this up a little bit, lift this up closer so you can see what we have. So just keep pulling on each one evenly. We don't want this too tight right now. It's important that it isn't too tight. So just pull that through. You should end up with something, okay, it's not perfectly square at the moment, but it will be in the end, that looks like that. So you have grey coming out this way, green coming out that way and that way, okay? So now I can pick this up off the bench quite easily and show you a little bit closer. We're now basically going to do the same knot again, and if you flip this over at the moment, we should see this part here coming across the top, and this is going to be our lanyard loop. So if this isn't the right color, you've done something wrong, go back to the start. If this is the grey as we wanted, we're doing fine. So flip it back over. We're basically just going to do another knot. So what we want to do is just take the grey cord, or your horizontal cord again rather, and flip that over the top that way. Take the other piece and flip it over that way. So now, if you pinch that in the middle, you basically have two loops like that, okay? So again, we're just going to take our top piece of the vertical cord, go over the first piece of the grey and down through that loop, exactly the same as we did in the first stage, but we're doing it on opposite sides now. Take the bottom piece of your green, over that first horizontal piece of the grey and down through the loops that way. And again, we're just going to cinch that up. Now whatever way you want to do this, it's a little messy, but just keep pulling on each side. Again, not too tight at this stage. Push that all together. making a bit of a mess of this, but there we go. And you should end up with something that looks like that. Okay, so we're keeping still at roughly that square shape, and this is the point where we're going to flip over and we're going to actually create the loop of our lanyard. So this is the piece we want to lengthen. So the easiest way to do that is just take your grey cord and feed a length of that through from there. Feed a length of that through from there, still keeping control of this knot, and then you're just going to work that out. Pull that through from the bottom. And as you pull it through, of course, it'll tighten up your bottom square knot again. So I'll show you how this looks now, and then I'll do a little bit more. Just keep tightening that bottom knot so you keep control of everything. Still looking fairly square down there in the bottom, and we now have this little lanyard loop poking out. And if you look underneath that, your secondary color, you should have basically something that looks like a cross. You have two little loops there and one piece going across the middle. So you want to lengthen this slightly more. So all we do is you take your bottom end of grey cord, and we're just going to feed through a little bit slack and then pull that out on the same side of the loop. Feed through from here a little bit slack and pull that out on the same side of the loop. Okay? So now that we have the loop to the length we want, we're just going to pull all the loose ends in turn. Just keep pulling and working them around till you get this coming together. And you can also pull on the loop to tighten that top, the first knot that we made. Okay, so now you should end up with something that looks like that on the bottom, square knot. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and complete this right down to the end so we can speed things up a little bit, and you can see how this is going to look, but that should be what you have at the moment. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, I'm just about to finish this now. Just snipping off the ends and singeing them down. We'll do the last one here. Snip that off, take your lighter. Oops, get that in frame. Heat up the end, and then either with the side of your lighter if it's metal, or with, in this case, an old kitchen knife, just press that down and straighten out you can bend and straighten out the fob. So you can see we have a square profile on the bottom, and yeah, there's our two color fob. Now, so we had 2 feet of each color, and we've created a fob that is, well, approximately 2 inches in length, a loop that is another 2 and a quarter inches. So if you, obviously the larger excess is with the green cord, because we're using a little bit for the loop here. You could add a little bit more of the grey cord or your starter cord, your horizontal, so you have a bit more even at the end. But basically, yeah, 2 foot of each color gives you a 2 inch fob and a 2.5 inch loop. So I hope that was helpful. Any questions, just leave them in the comments and I'll try and help you out. And of course, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.